3 degrees.
Until 3, this is Let's Play in WA with Brad Fitzgerald.
It's 2:05 and welcome to Let's Play in WA. I hope your afternoon is going splendidly. And if you're on your way to the shops or you know you've still got to go to the shops and you've got someone in your life that likes the techie stuff, or you like it yourself and there's nobody buying you Christmas presents, so you want to get yourself something, which is what I did, even though there is somebody buying me Christmas presents, Ben Aylett. Ben Aylett's the man to talk you through the great tech Christmas gifts for 2019's Christmas. Welcome to the show, Ben Aylett from benaylett.com.
Thanks very much, Brad.
Now, what were we just talking about off air? Because I said to you, what is the best tech thing you've seen in 2019? What's the thing that's really you've enjoyed or has really got you going this year?
Well, my personal highlight for 2019 was the National Missing Persons Hackathon. It's not so much a product or a service, but it was actually an event. And what happened was we had a whole bunch of people who are ethical hackers or white hat hackers, as you call them, and we've got all these missing persons.
Right.
And so the federal police have teamed up with state police and the Australian Cybersecurity Centre, and we managed to get a whole bunch of people together, and we used social media and the dark web and trolling forums. We just managed to get a whole eyes and brains on the problem of solving 12 missing persons cases.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was really quite an event. It was really fantastic.
And how are the results?
The results, well, we haven't got any results back as in we found this person or we haven't found this person, but we got metrics on how well we were performing. So there was a point in time during this 6-hour event, which was held on a Friday, we were submitting 100 pieces of information every 10 minutes.
Wow.
So we were just really flooding the poor old federal police with all these potential leads of where these people might be. So it was a really good event. And the thing that I took away from this is that it wasn't necessarily a very technical event. So you didn't need to be an absolute computer whiz to make a difference with this. All you needed to do was know how to Google and know how to search.
Fantastic. And,
that
it's
was it.
And just utilising computer power as a group, is it?
Utilising people power.
People power as a
Yeah,
group.
so people on computers doing things.
That's fantastic. That is fascinating.
Is really, really good. So I'm really looking forward to the next event. I'm hoping it's going to be at least an annual event.
Yep.
And when it is, I'm going to be letting people far and wide know about it because it is really an outstanding event. I think it's like $20 or $30 to register to actually take part.
Yep.
But it is well catered for. It's and you get a chance to learn new skills and work with other people who might actually be quite advanced as far as technology goes.
And hopefully we can start to see some other results once the federal police actually have time to trawl through the, I'm assuming, reams of information that you've supplied them with.
Yeah, it's just really good and highly recommended. So 6PR listeners, keep an ear out because when it happens, I'll be letting you guys know. And I'm quite sure that at least half of you know how to Google. So we should be able to
most of us do.
we should be able to bump up the numbers a bit and really make a dent in this missing persons.
If my mum knows how to Google, anyone knows how to Google. Actually, no, if my dad knows how to Google, anyone knows how to Google. My mum's pretty savvy with that sort of stuff. All right, let's get into some Chrissy gifts.
Yes.
And I sent you a little message. I said, I want to talk first. Can we talk about retro gaming?
Oh, absolutely.
If I'm not mistaken, this looks like it's one of the big things for 2019. I know my 6-year-old has asked Santa for a retro Space Invaders. It's not really a console; it's basically just a controller.
Yeah,
and that's got the game built in.
Right. Okay.
But it's got a couple of RCA cords, so I think you've got to be careful with modern TVs don't always have them anymore.
Yes,
as an outlet. So I think that's a bit of a trip up. But I think like your Kmart's and your Targets and all that are selling them.
Yep.
It's big business all of a sudden, isn't it?
Nostalgia really sells stuff. So they've managed to get to the point where we've got the people who grew up on this stuff. You know, they'd go to the arcades or they'd have an Atari 2600 in their home, and it's great to sort of look back and enjoy those games, and it takes you back to that time when we had a simpler life, and people are jumping right into it with both feet. Unfortunately, the old consoles that we have, if anyone's still got them, they've probably got an old CRT, like the old fatback TVs that they plug it into, because none of the new TVs will accept those sorts of inputs. So we're kind of stuck. So the manufacturers are coming to the rescue by providing us with these mini consoles or these clone consoles or some sort of games or arcade systems that we can plug in with a simple HDMI port. And away we go.
Yeah,
so
because that's what you need. I did. Is it fair to say the first of them was the Atari 2600 when they did a retro version of that one?
The first one, I think it was a Sega. I think that
So it's the Sega jumped Atari on that one. Yeah. Because I got the thing with the Atari that I got. So the Atari 2600 console, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not too sure, was back in the 80s.
Oh yeah,
and early 80s too.
Even
it was
the
70s, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was too. Yeah. And it had the big cartridge that you plugged into it, and it was quite large, like at least 5 centimetres wide.
Yep,
and
large black plastic box with wood panelling.
It did have wood panelling,
and it had
switches.
It had those joysticks that were nearly indestructible.
Yes. Well, that's the thing that got me with the retro version of it, because the console looked the same except it was a third of the size. It didn't have the cartridges you need to put in it because it could store hundreds of games inside it because of the way your computer memory is.
Yeah.
But the joysticks were the same.
Oh, there you go.
And that was the thing that got me.
That's what matters.
That's what mattered.
Exactly right.
It was tangible. You could touch it, and I got one.
Yep.
And then I forgot how rubbish the games are. So it's collecting dust in the corner somewhere.
But it all came rushing back. The spearmint milk and the Kiss bubble gum. Yeah, was all there.
And I tried to show my kids. So my kids are 3, 9, and 6. And my 9-year-old in particular, I tried to get excited for him with it. He's what's this rubbish? Where's Fortnite?
Well, yeah, that's right. It's a lot of competing with the modern games these days, but it comes down to that classic game design.
Yeah.
So Space Invaders might not cut it, but they might find Galaxian more enjoyable, or Pac-Man, or Quicks, or all those other classic arcade games. It might just grab a nerve and just light up the kids. They might understand what it was that got us all fired up.
Yeah.
Maybe even Double Dragon.
Yeah, well, that's another one that has been released, actually, Double Dragon Street Fighter.
Yep.
They've been released on those, they're basically just the joystick. And the game's built into the joystick
exactly,
and plugged into the TV.
Yeah, so there's so many offerings now. So if you want to get a taste of the old retro gaming, you can start for around about $60 or less for like these tiny single game units, and they look like the old arcade machines we used to see in the penny arcades. And it's got the controls and everything, but it fits in the palm of your hand. And it's a great little collectible, but they play a single game. Yeah. And then we can go all the way out to, say, stuff for at home. You can get the Capcom game deck.
Oh, yes.
And it is a pair of arcade joysticks, 6 buttons for each player, for the 2 players. Plugs into your TV, and it plays all the classic Capcom games. So I think there's about 20 or 30 games that it plays.
Is that the one I saw? I think not JB Hi-Fi. JCar had it.
Yes. Oh no, the JCar one, that's slightly different.
It's different again.
Yeah. So the Capcom one, that has a few games, and they're actually all licensed, and they're by the people at Capcom. So it's going to be on point.
Yep.
The one at JCar. Fantastic machine, 1,399 games.
Wow.
So you're bound to find the one that you like.
Yeah.
Plugged in with HDMI, it's still got those rock-solid arcade quality controls. And I think that's going to be a great buy as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You just got to find somewhere to put it on. Like get the right size coffee table. I'm 6'5". I'm not a little kid anymore. I'm not built to lay on the carpet and lay down playing these games like I used to. I last about 5 minutes. My chest hurts and my back hurts, and it's all over.
They can go on your lap as well, I think. So you can sort of give the player 2 a bit of a nudge now and then at a critical time and get that win like we used to.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, well, that was always good being able to put someone off. Okay, mobile phones. It's got to be another big tech item. Heading into Chrissy.
Yep.
What about, we all know, we talk a lot about mobile phones. I'm sure you spend half your life talking about mobile phones, the latest ones that are out. And
that's right.
But what I'm interested in is the other end of the scale, so the cheap end of the scale. What are we buying there? I have it on good authority that Santa may be getting my 9 and a 6-year-old a cheap mobile phone for Christmas. Before you judge me, it won't have a SIM card in it. There'll be no phone calls being made. The idea of that is it's a cheap way to not have to buy an iPad and to stop arguments between 2 children.
Oh yeah, that's right. Just for the peace alone, it's worth it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but what are some of the trip ups here? Should we be careful about what we get? What are we looking out for? Are they to play apps and games? If that's all you're wanting it for, are they going to be doing the job?
In most cases, they'll play the basic games. So things like your Candy Crush and your little match 3 games, as long as it doesn't have too much as far as animations go.
Okay.
So when we start talking about things like PUBG Mobile and Hearthstone and all those games that rely heavily on really nice animation, it could struggle. So it might be slow, it might stutter, it might not even run. You've got to make sure you're using the latest version of Android available, and that is Android 9 or probably Android 10 by now.
Yes.
And as long as you've got the latest versions, it should work. Now, when it comes to having kids on mobile phones, Android, I know, and Apple, I think, have got great family systems or family setups.
Fantastic.
So you can actually set up an account for your children, and you have those accounts set up under your main account. Now, this is all through Google.
Yes.
So you set up your own Google profile, and under that you say, I want to add these kids under my profile. And with that, you get to sort of limit the amount of time they can spend on it at one time. You get to restrict what they can install. So it gives you kind of that safety net.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
That is fantastic because at the moment, you know, the kids jump on our phones and do stuff. And, of course, there's no restrictions on there. And we keep a close eye on what they're doing, to be honest with you. And I think having this system in place that Google has, you still should keep an eye on it. But it's just another layer of support to help you as a parent. Yeah, it is. And I believe in keeping kids up to date with technology, to be honest with you, rather than just saying, no, they're not having any of that.
Yeah, I
there's
also
a limit
think
to it.
Yeah, I think there is a disservice you can do to kids by saying no technology.
Yep.
Because when they go into school, when they get out of school, they're going to be dealing in a world that is chock full of technology. So denying them that is actually going to be hamstringing them. But you've also got to walk that line where you've got to be able to control their access, or you've got to let them become more aware of what they're doing, how much time they're spending on their devices. So, you know, you could break it down to them and say, look, you've been on the phone for, you know, a couple of hours, or you've been playing with a PlayStation for, you know, another 90 minutes after dinner. It's probably time to put it down.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of not letting kids have things like game consoles and other sort of like time sinks in bedrooms.
Yes, yeah, and that's something I've kept out the bedroom. There's no TVs in the bedroom. I think it's ridiculous.
No phones.
No, the only time we've got a little portable TV.
Yep.
They get that if they're sick, if they're homesick from school or something, and that might happen once a year.
Yep.
There's none of that. There's no phones. There's no hiding. Taking the phone into the bedroom and playing games where I can't hear them, or the Nintendo.
Yeah.
It's all got to be out in the lounge room.
Yeah. So keeping devices out of the bedroom is really important. There are exceptions. So if they're high school age and they're cramming like crazy for your 10, 11, 12, fine.
Yep.
Because, you know, if they're cramming, you know, they're probably going to be focusing on what they should be doing anyway. Behaviour management is important. And also, as a side, a mobile phone, now that you'll be giving the kids mobile phones, they're also a great discipline tool.
Yes. You know what? I've noticed that with what we have in the house already. It's like, right, that won't be appearing for another week unless you do this or you don't do that. And it's great. And I hear from other parents that have trouble with their kids and behavioural issues, getting them off games and stuff like that. We've had a blip on the radar a couple of times, but other than that, we lock them in, you've got an hour, that's all you've got, and then you're off it. I give them a 5-minute warning before the hour's up, and they know then. So it seems to work all right. Right, we are talking Christmas gifts with Ben Arlett from benarlett.com. We're going to take a bit of a break, then we're going to we'll get stuck into quite a few of the different techie Christmas gifts that we can cover off shortly. It is 2 on Let's Play in WA.
Macquarie Weekly with Justin Smith.
Bill Shorten didn't lose the last federal election just because he was unpopular.
His opinions.
He was totally incapable of being able to sell any of those rubbish policies.
And yours.
When he became a politician, he just lost it.
Tends to bugger them up, doesn't it, Charlie?
It does.
It does. Everything's fine until they become politicians.
Coast to Coast Talkback. Macquarie Weekly with Justin Smith. Sunday, 3 p.m. on 6PR.
For radio lovers, it all adds up. You make us laugh. You make us sing. Connect us all to everything. And even when our day's gone wrong, you'll play that song and we'll move on. It all adds up. And now there's even more for us. Extra stations, in fact 20 plus. All our favourites will still be found, but the difference now is digital sound. Free from fuss and free for us. There's more radio to love on DAB Plus.
Hi, I'm Steve Sell from Loans 123. Do you need an overseas holiday, cosmetic surgery, or want to consolidate your debt into one simple loan? Do you want to renovate your kitchen, update the bathroom, install a spa or pool, or even add the big deck you've always wanted? Loans 123 can help with an unsecured personal loan. Who do you see? Steve Sell at loans123.com.au or call 1800 100 100. We can help.
Switch to Optus now at Harvey Norman and receive a bonus EFTPOS gift card valued at up to $400 with selected Samsung Galaxy and Google Pixel phones on new eligible 24-month handset plans. That's right, bonus EFTPOS gift card offer available now in store at Harvey Norman, your premium Optus dealer. Offer ends December 24. For full terms and conditions, visit www.harveynorman.com.au/Optus-offer.
SeaLink is Rottnest's newer, better ferry service, departing from Perth as well as Fremantle. Now with 2 modern big catamarans, SeaLink Rottnest has double the smooth service and double the departures. With over 80 vessels around Australia, no one knows how to get to an island better than SeaLink. So trust the new SeaLink crew dressed in blue. To book Rottnest's newer, better ferry service, go to sealinkrottnest.com.au or call 1300 Quokka.
Hey, Luke Ryan here from Tackle West in Cannington. Stock up for the holidays with all the right gear. At Tackle West, we have an awesome range of quality products and all the right tips from our experts. And our expert advice is still free. Hooks, line, bait, rods, and we specialise in lure fishing with thousands of lures to choose from. Get serious this Christmas and catch more fish over the break. Tackle West, William Street, Cannington, right next door to Harley Davidson.
In my 20s, I cared more about adding to my CD collection than investing in my future. Now the only thing I'm adding to my collection is dust. Lucky for me, it's never too late to talk to Knight Financial Advisors.
You can't change your past, but you can change how you plan for your future today. Knight Financial Advisors can help you grow and protect your wealth while still enjoying the lifestyle you know and love. We'll even start you off with a free consultation. Search Knight Financial Advisors today.
AFSL 438631.
882 6PR. This is Let's Play in WA with Brad Fitzgerald.
Good afternoon. It's 22 past 2 and Ben Ayler from benaylett.com joins us. We're talking tech gifts for Christmas. But we've had a couple of phone calls too, Ben. So we'll fill these. Eddie's phoned in from Ballajura. Hey, Eddie, Ben's with us. Take it away.
Ben and Brad. Yeah, look, I'm 65 years old. I've got a computer. It's got Windows 7 on it. I've had it for over 6 years. I'm very used to Windows 7, but I've been told that everything's being updated and it's getting old and I should get another computer. And I'm just wondering how I can get all the same information from my old computer onto a new computer with all the icons on the desktop that, I'm used to.
Yeah, okay. Look, who has been telling you it's time to upgrade to Windows 10, they are right, because support for Windows 7 ends on January the 15th. Now, what that means is that it doesn't mean that Windows 7 is going to stop dead in its tracks and you've got yourself a box that does nothing. It means that we're not going to get any more security updates for Windows 7. When that happens, when a new security update is released for Windows 10, the bad guys are going to look at that security update and they should be able to work out pretty quickly which holes are left open in Windows 7. So you're kind of putting yourself at risk if you don't update from Windows 7. Now, how to upgrade? You need to take a backup, of course. So you really shouldn't be using a computer without taking a backup first. And then there are usually tools that will help you transfer the data as you set up a new computer. So you can go to your favourite big box store or your computer retailer and ask for a PC with Windows 10. They'll get you sorted out. And as soon as you start setting up Windows 10, it will probably take you through a setup wizard which will say, is this a new computer and do you want to transfer data from an old PC? And it should step you through the process.
Well, I'm not very good on computers. All I know is how to get into Yahoo and send emails and search the internet. Yeah. But the rest of the stuff, setting things up, it gets me too complicated.
Yeah. Thankfully, all of this is done through wizards. So it's just a step-by-step process.
Yeah, Eddie, I think there's your local computer store can do all of this for you, mate. I mean, I don't know how financial you are. Have a chat to them about how much it'll cost. I've got a mate who's got a computer store down in Rockingham. He does this sort of stuff every day for people like you, Eddie. And it's very simple for them, but very complicated for you or I, Eddie, to do something like that. So go and have a chat to them, and then you find yourself with a nice, fast, fresh running computer that has all the security that you need, and it looks like your old one.
It does. And you could even consider going for a laptop. These days, the price difference, the bang for buck between a laptop and a desktop, it's really hard to tell, and you're getting a screen with a laptop and a battery for the laptop as well. So,
yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Eddie, for the call. Kevin's phoned in from Ross. Morning, Kevin. You've got a question for Ben.
Yeah, hi, Ben. I've spoken to you before
Yes.
about my Oppo phone,
Right.
R17 Pro.
Uh-huh.
I'm still having major issues regarding with network.
Oh, your network. Okay, so...
It's not mattering where I'm going.
Yep.
Well, right where I am right at this very second, I'm visiting Mum, and that's in Bentley, and I can't get a phone service, and the staff that work here can't either.
Oh, okay. Right. What about other phones or phones using other plans or SIMs?
Yeah, and I've changed the SIM numerous times, and because I do have a smart antenna at home, I can't change to anyone else because I'm with Vodafone.
The smart antenna... oh, yeah, okay. It's...
Ben, do phone manufacturers, going from phone manufacturers to manufacturers different, so say your Samsungs, just sticking to the Android side of things, your Samsungs, or even, I know Oppo sort of bridges that gap a little bit. Does the phone itself enhance your reception quality? It's more the network you're with that tends to be the issue, isn't it?
It's a combination of both.
It is?
So, yes, the network and the network coverage will determine a big deal of it, and then the phone, or right down to the phone model, can determine how far away you can get from a cell before the signal starts to drop.
Okay.
So, say, for example, if you're with Telstra, look for phones that have got the blue tick. I think it's also the same with all the other carriers. So a blue tick means that that particular phone has got a really good mobile modem, and it will have a better chance at picking up weak signals. So it will perform better in marginal areas. So it could be the phone.
It's interesting. I had an Oppo phone 3 years ago, never had a problem with the reception. I was with Oppo phone through Telstra, and it seemed to work fine. But, maybe Kevin should go see his local phone retailer on that one.
Yeah, I would actually be tempted to see if there's a way you can try a different phone. So maybe Oppo, maybe Samsung. I'm also a big fan of the Google Pixel range of phones.
Oh, they are good, are they?
They are awesome.
Yeah, fantastic. Really good. Fantastic. Muzzer has phoned in. Thanks for the call, by the way, Kevin. Muzzer's phoned in from Beckenham. Muzzer, take it away. Ben's got your ear.
Yeah, g'day, boys. Look, I'm not going to get my laptop in for service, and you had another call a couple minutes ago on that update to Windows 10.
Yep.
So I just make similar with mine once I get in for a service?
Take it in for a service because it wants updates?
No, I just need to get it serviced. Link's been paying up. I need to get in for service. Should I get updates in it or just leave it as it is?
Oh, okay. So you think...
I don't know what Windows is in at the moment. I don't know what it is. So what sort of program,
Yep, okay. So if you're not using Windows 10, you can actually get Windows an upgrade from Windows 7 to Windows 10. It will still cost a couple of $100 for that license to use Windows 10 because that period where we could upgrade to 10 for free, that's now gone. I think that finished up in 2016. So, you've left it too long. So you are going to have to pay for a new license for Windows 10. And I think you're looking at around about $230 to upgrade from Windows 7 to Windows 10 Home.
Okay. Is it a laptop, Muzzer?
I have, but I wasn't aware of it, so...
Yeah. Would it be worth, while Muzzer's on the phone, would it be something I just did on an old laptop of mine for my 9-year-old to use for school? I updated to a solid state drive from the old small drive. It cost me a couple $100 to do it.
Yes.
And now we've got a much faster computer, put another 4 gig of RAM in it at the same time. A much faster laptop, and it will do him for what he needs to do.
Exactly, yeah. So that is a very popular way to give your PC a bit of a boost. So add memory or RAM and then change your hard drive from the old spinning rust, as we used to call it, to a solid state drive or SSD.
So an SSD is kind of like it's a more complicated version of a USB stick, kind of, isn't it? Really, it's just it's a still piece of hardware that stores.
Yeah, it's using the same principle. It's just able to transfer data so much faster.
Yeah. Fantastic. Thanks for the calls, everybody. Let's get back to some of the tech gifts for Christmas, because we are getting low on time, but I hate saying no to callers, Ben. The Nintendo Switch Lite. This is I'm seeing this advertised everywhere. It's obviously pretty big. The kids are loving this. Adults are loving this. What's the difference between that and a normal Nintendo Switch?
The Nintendo Switch, you're able to dock and put into the TV.
Okay.
Nintendo Switch Lite, not so much.
All right, so that's pretty much the difference.
That's the basis. Yeah,
really. Yeah. Okay, then fantastic. Do the controllers still come on and off, or they're sort of fixed to the game console now?
I'm looking at it now because I don't actually have a Nintendo Switch or Switch Lite myself. I'm more of a Sony person and Microsoft person.
Yes.
But the Switch Lite, it looks like that the controllers are stuck to the screen.
Yeah. But power-wise, I think you can play all the games. Okay, drones. Are they still popular, and are the cheap ones getting better?
If you ask CASA, yes, and that's the Civil Aviation Authority.
Yes.
They are going to tell you, yes, drones are getting wildly popular to the point where they're looking to have all drones to be registered.
Right. There's issues over 30 metres already, isn't there? Some sort of registration. You got to keep them under 30 metres high at the moment, I believe, through CASA. Is that correct?
When you've got a drone,
yes.
And I actually double-checked with CASA on this just a few days ago, these rules apply, and it doesn't matter what drone you have.
Really?
So anything under 2 kilograms,
yes,
you've got to keep it 30 metres away from people, 30 metres away from buildings, under 120 metres in altitude from the ground from where you take off.
How do you pick that from the ground?
Well, it's all on the little controller.
Oh, really? It tells you how high it is.
Yeah, so
fantastic.
the ones that can go to 120 metres, they've got a readout, or you use your phone or tablet plugged into the controls, and that'll tell you the altitude. You're not allowed to operate it outside of line of sight, and that's unassisted line of sight. So you can wear glasses, but you can't use binoculars.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
So you've got to be able to keep eyes on that drone at all times.
And for people who are sitting there thinking, well, that seems pretty obvious, most drones nowadays have a camera, and you can link it to your smart device like your phone or your tablet and watch where it's going, even if you can't visually see it.
Yeah, technically you can fly it beyond line of sight and see around corners and that sort of thing, but you really shouldn't because if something goes wrong, it actually falls under CASA's regulations, and then there's pretty heavy penalties. So if you hurt someone or if you damage something and you haven't been following the rules, you are in a world of hurt.
Okay, what if I've got, say, a 12-year-old at home, I've been asking for a drone, Mum and Dad want a drone. Mum and Dad are looking for a drone. What should we be spending? Because you don't want to spend too much money, but at the same time, you don't want to go spend $100 and just waste it because it's useless to use or it's too difficult to use.
Yeah, it really depends on the individual. So if this 12-year-old is quite responsible and they understand the concept of regulations and things, then you can start looking at things like your DJI drones.
Which is what you've brought in today.
Yeah, I bought one in today. Probably the lower end, and they are good for flying around indoors because the props are shrouded and you can take it outside, but they're pretty light, so they're going to get pushed around by the wind. So he'll work out pretty quickly what he can and can't do, or she. It's just if they're pretty responsible, go for it. If they're the kind of kid who'd be popping wheelies on their bike and they're the risk takers, get them a tiny indoor drone. So that way the only people at risk are yourselves and the cat.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I just want to close things off because I think if you go into any tech store like a J-Car at the moment and you just take a quick look around, the stores are dominated with home security systems at the moment. It seems to be a massive thing over the last year or two. Are they a good idea to do yourself at home? I'm talking door cams, sensors, security cameras. And something I've stumbled across, are there issues with firewalls, with your modem trying to sync this stuff up?
Home security systems, I mean, they're a great idea in principle, but if you're not following good security practices when it comes to technology in itself, you're probably setting yourself up to be exposed more. So things like the Ring doorbell, the Amazon Ring doorbell.
Seen it.
We've seen some issues recently where people have been using the same username and password, say like for their email or for Facebook or for Twitter or other services they use. Those services have been breached and they've been using that same username and password to log into their Ring doorbell or to their Ring internal camera. As soon as these sites are breached, there's a massive database dump. It's put out there on the black market or on the black web, and the bad guys then grab these credentials, so usernames, passwords, and they try them against all the services they can think of. So, your Tinder or your Facebook or your email, and eventually your Ring doorbell or some other cloud-based security system. And if they're in, they're in.
They're in.
Yeah. So have a good think about your digital hygiene or cyber hygiene when it comes to managing passwords.
Yep.
So make sure if you're going to be using a security system, make sure that you're using a unique password to access it, and also use two-factor authentication. If you're not sure what two-factor authentication is, I've got it explained on my website at benaylett.com. Just pop in the little search 2FA up the top.
Beautiful.
And it should take you to where you need to go. Otherwise, you're more than welcome to give me a call and I'll be happy to answer your question.
Yeah, get in touch with Ben with all that sort of stuff. Yeah, it's because it's becoming so big and so popular. There are at home some issues tripping up, and like I said, I had an issue with a firewall with somebody, and they basically had to go into their modem, which most people don't know how to do. Access their modem, reduce their firewall settings, which not everybody wants to do.
Nope.
To allow this unit to be accepted and buy it. So, and I think a lot of people are going to be finding themselves in a similar issue with some of these third-party devices.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with how to change or mess with your modem, you really should be getting a professional in to look at it, because you could be really leaving yourself open for a breach.
And if you've got an aftermarket modem like a Netgear, don't leave it at Netgear, whatever the number is, because people know how to actually access into that. It's pretty easy to do if you haven't changed the generic password that comes with that system. I found out that with my own Netgear modem. So luckily I stumbled across it before somebody did anything bad. Hey, Ben Aylett, it's been an absolute pleasure. benaylett.com is where you need to go if you've got any questions for Ben, or you want to cover off any of that information we touched on today. We only got through half the things we wanted to talk about, but that's
always a way.
That's pretty typical.
Yeah, sure is.
Thanks for coming in on the weekend. Really appreciate it, Ben. It's 24 minutes to 3.